everyone, it's Darby from rejoiceandcreate.com. Thanks for stopping by today. Well, I have a fun project today which would be really great for all of your parties and tables, all your celebrations, or even a gift if you want to leave one for a coworker or a friend or a classroom teacher perhaps. And that is this. Let's see if I can tip it back. It's actually a little like candy bowl, and it's 4 sections. And in each one of these, I have 8 pieces of candy, so you can kind of get an idea of how much will fit into it. And I have kisses and Rolos in here. Let me go ahead and dump this one out, and I'll show you up close what it looks like. Okay, so this is how this one looks. It's 4 sections, and you can see I used a 2-sided paper on this one, and I decorated each of my little quadrants with some pretty flowers. These actually came from a Tim Holtz Botanical Layers package that I got with a coupon, I believe, or it might have been on clearance actually, and a little stamp that says "Your Blessing." And I think it ends up to be a wonderful little compartment for some different candies, treats, or maybe even sitting on your desk with some office supplies. So this is how it looks on the top. Let me go ahead and show you. This is how it looks on the bottom, and it just makes a very sweet little organizer or treat holder. All right, let me show you this one, and let's see if I can put my hand over it and kind of show you the front. This was a 1-sided paper, and this was from the Yuletide Blessings that I got at Hobby Lobby. And let me just go ahead and dump this one out so I can show you this one as well. Okay, so this is how one looks if it's a 1-sided paper and it has white on the background. Again, that's how it looks on the bottom. On this one, I just punched some flowers with a little old flower punch I had to make them look a little bit like poinsettias, and used a foam dot and covered the foam dot with some twine. I think it's really sweet with the plaid. And this is an old retired stamp from Stampin' Up, but I think it looks really sweet, and they go very quickly and use up a 12 by 12 sheet of paper, and actually a thinner paper would work better. So if you have the patterned paper, even a lighter weight pattern paper, it actually would work better. If you try cardstock with this, because it's more of an origami type fold, it actually might have too thick layers to end up. I'd say this is probably the thickest I would go. It's a little bit closer to cardstock. But it actually, I could still fold it over. Alright, so as I said, it uses a 12 by 12 piece of paper, and really there's no measurements. So you can make it out of any size paper as long as it's square, although I did try it with a 6 by 6 and really it ends up too small. So it has to be a bit bigger than that. Maybe an 8 by 8 could give you a few candies, but the 12 by 12 is a beautiful size for a lot of treats. Alright, so we're going to use a 12 by 12 inch piece of paper, and this is pattern paper from Stampin' Up. It's part of the Smooth Sailing Suite, and when I'm going for something more masculine, I thought this would be a really nice masculine type paper to use. And an all-over pattern on both sides is really good, so you don't see that maybe directional patterns might be a bit angled. If you don't mind that, that's fine. So let's go ahead and get going. So the first thing we're going to do is do a corner to corner fold. And I would put the paper that you want to see the most of on the outside. For instance, with this pattern paper, the outside was the dotted paper, and the inside one was the other pattern. And with this one, the pattern paper was on the outside, and of course the back of it was white, so that was on the inside. Alright, so corner to corner, open up, corner to corner. Burnish the folds nicely. Okay, so we have a corner to corner, we have a corner to corner. Now we're going to go side to side and side to side. Okay, so we have 4 squares, each one with a diagonal fold in it. And now what we're going to do is put it in a diagonal towards you, so it's more of a diamond pattern. And on these 2 side patterns, fold those 2 diagonals in. And what you're going to find is the front diagonal or on point square and the back on point square are going to collapse down together. See? Collapse down together like this. All right, let's just take a minute and reinforce our folds. Okay, so this is what we have right now. So what we're going to do first is to take this side, we'll open it back up, and those two sides that were folded in, we're going to fold that point up almost to the center. And the reason I say almost to the center is because if you right to the center, it might be too bulky in there. So maybe 1/8 of an inch off of it. Just go ahead and fold that and burnish it. And same with the opposite side. Also fold that up, maybe about 1/8 of an inch off, but otherwise line up that diagonal fold. And that's what you got. Okay, so let's go ahead and collapse that back down like that. Now, when you get to this point, you might want to just quickly think how you want to put the loop on the top. This loop, I poked right up through the bottom, and you don't need to do anything with that right now. I just tied a loop of ribbon, I put glue on the knot, and I poked it right up through the bottom, right through the center. This one, I actually poked a hole in it. You can't see it because I covered it, but I punched a hole through it, and I looped the ribbon around. And if you want to do that, at this point, you might want to just open that back up and just punch right here, just inside, maybe about 3/8 of an inch from the top of that corner, right in the top of that point for this center square, because that way you won't accidentally nick the two sides and weaken the top. So if you want to loop it through that way, then you might want to do that before we continue. But let's go ahead and continue. And really, it takes longer to explain than to actually do. Okay, so now if you know the diaper fold, you're golden, because that's what we're going to do now, and we'll do one on each side. So take this point up to the top, and because you shortened on the other sides, this one's going to be a wee bit shorter too, so it's not going to go quite up to the top. But go ahead and burnish it well. And then we'll take this corner over here and cross it over. And I'm not going all the way because I wanted a little bit wider treat pocket. So go ahead and fold that over, but make sure this is parallel to this. I don't think I have it quite yet. And then the same with this one, meet the top and make sure that's parallel to this. And you will know if you're even when you get to the point where you're folding this down. If this comes right down and that point lands right on that diagonal score line, you're good. So go ahead and fold that down. Okay, so we have one side done. Let's move it over and do the other side. And we're going to do the exact same thing on this side. Now when you do this side, you actually can pattern that fold right against the other one so that you're even. So you know where to put that one. And again with this one. Match it to the one underneath it. And again, my point is right on that fold, so I'm pretty good. And let's go ahead and just fold that all down. Okay, now because this is so bulky, I would go ahead and glue this. Now, if you're doing it just with the fold, you may not need to, but because we are quite bulky, because we have several layers, let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to glue that one up. I'm going to glue that one up. Slightly off on that. And then we'll go ahead and glue this one down. All right, press that down and let it hold. Turn that over and do the same on this side. All right, and we'll just hold that down for a moment. All right, so we are almost done with this actually. So what we're going to do is we're going to hold it open and kind of run your fingers along here to make a nice curved front to it, because these are the thicker sides. They have a few more layers on them. And then as we open this up, we'll see that we have this side, and we're just going to fold this one down, matching this fold line right along the way, until when we fold it down, we stop right at the corners of our pocket. And go ahead and fold that one down too. And the same with this other side. Okay, so let's go ahead and open that all up and make sure our pockets are okay. Now you'll notice it does look a little bit more oval. If that bothers you that these are kind of open a little bit on the side, you could just put a glue dot in there and that will hold those together. Okay. This is going to be my front and my back. I'm going to use the wider side as my front, so these two sides will be the side pockets. Okay, so now I've got it all poked out, and what I'm going to do is I will just land a glue dot in each one of these little corners just to make sure it holds. You can see I'm just putting it right inside there just to hold it together, because I'm going to put a decoration on it as well. Okay, so isn't that a sweet basket? And that's what the underside looks like. And let's go ahead and put our ribbon in there. And I'm going to use, let's see, this ribbon, a lighter color of the blue. I think that would be kind of pretty. So I'm going to go ahead and make a loop and tie a knot as big as I want my loop to be. Oops, out of screen. Okay, so that will make a very sweet loop. Okay, so go ahead and cut the bottoms of that off. All right, now what I did is I actually went from the bottom and right up through the center, I poked a hole. Now you're going to need a little bit bigger of a hole, so how I put my ribbon in was I used a scoring tool and kind of put it right on the end of my ribbon. Or you can use a skewer or something else and kind of poked it right up through there. Okay, just poked it right up through like that. Now before I got too far, what I did was I put a lot of glue right around the outside of that knot, so when I pulled it all the way up, it would actually glue in place. You can see that. I'm just kind of right on the top part of the knot. Oops. So I don't know if you can see that, but right on the top part around the outside of that knot, I put some glue, and I'll just pull it up into place. Right to where the knot is right below where I can feel it, right where the top of my box is. So I think the cording looks rather nautical, so I took a double layer of that, and I just went around it. And tied a bow. Okay, so I just went ahead and tied a bow right at the base. It covers up any ragged edges you might have. And I just like the way that the twine kind of looks a bit nautical. All right, and this is what I have. All right, so let me go ahead and decorate it, and I shall be right back. Okay, so now that I'm finished with it, let me show you how I decorated it. This suite has a stamp set, which I used the congrats, and then it has some dies that go with it, and I used the banner die, the ship steering wheel die, and then I used some of the rope trim and nautical knots, and then as well as the anchor on it. So that's how I decorated this one for a little bit more masculine or nautical feel. Let me go ahead and fill this one up along with my other ones, and I'll bring them all on back. All right, so here they are filled. And as I mentioned, I have 8 kisses or Rolos in each of the compartments, or you could fit some things like Starlight Mints or hard candies or other small things in there as well. Or it'd look really cute on a desk if you want to give it to a teacher with some teacher supplies, maybe some paper clips or binder clips. But let me just show you each one quickly again. Here is my nautical version of it. This is the congrats. And here's the back of it. here is my Christmas version. And I used the little poinsettias, and I decorated the corners because it made it look just a little bit neater. And here's the back of that one. And finally, here is my one for your blessing. And they use up a 12 by 12 sheet of paper, so if you're decorating for a party, you can use quite a bit of paper up if you want to get rid of a paper pack. So I hope you enjoyed the project and give it a try. If you liked the video, please subscribe to be notified of new videos as I upload them. For more information on this project and other projects I've done, please go to rejoiceandcreate.com. And as always, until we meet again, I hope your days are blessed. Bye!